Hey, from the Mike Eisenstadt Performance Studio, this is the Live Music Showcase brought to you by WMNF Tampa and listeners like you and me. I'm Bill Dudley. I'll be your host for the next 55, and today we have in the studio Mountain Holler. We're going to let them start off with a tune. They're going to find out who they are, why they're doing this. Hey, welcome, guys.
Hey, good to be here.
What's this going to be?
This song is called Last Plane Out of Town. You ready, Dash?
They're here live in the studio at WMNF in Tampa. It's Mountain Holler. Let me introduce to you Mountain Holler, Mark Etherington on the guitar and vocals.
Hello.
And Sarah Modene on keyboards and background vocals.
Hi.
Welcome, guys.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Mark, tell us a little bit about this band and how you got started and who you are and stuff like that. What do people want to know about you?
So really, we're just two redheads from St. Petersburg playing music. I've been going under the name Mountain Holler since about 2012.
You're a solo act originally.
Yeah, up until 2017, really. I tried to expand my musical prowess in these ideas with a band called Red Feather. Started back in about 2013, 2012. But I've still maintained Mountain Holler as its own solo entity. And then Sarah and I met late 2016 and started playing together in 2017. And it just meshed so well that I started incorporating our collaboration into my shows since I'd already been booked out, for months and months on end. And things, the rest is history, I guess. But
well, that first song, how I better ask you this a little later on in the show. I was going to ask you what kind of music, how do you describe yourselves, music very ethereal, very ambient. Would that be a good word?
Yeah. At one point I found out like spirit ritual, like instead of spiritual, spirit ritual folk. Because everything that we conceive musically comes from a different place. It's not so much contrived. It's not so much to sit down and brainstorm and write music. It's more so along the lines of working with comes from the moment. The camera people are all right. Something going on.
They're cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're cool. Our camera people are cool.
They're cool. This is a great crew that's going on in here.
Well, so you've been playing tunes on your own since 2000, and what does it say here? 2006.
Yeah,
and,
I've actually
writing songs, and
Yeah.
it says here you received Creative Loafing's Best of the Bay Award back in 2012 for Best Musical MVP.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So at that time I was playing. That's about the year. I guess in 2011 I started Red Feather. So about that time I was playing drums at a band called Set and Setting.
So you're a multi-instrumentalist kind of guy.
I am, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and so is Sarah. Sarah's classically trained pianist and a classically trained harpist
Wow, that's great.
as well, and obviously a great vocalist.
Well,
But,
do another song for us here.
Okay, so I released an EP back in I flew out to Seattle to play a festival out there in September, and that was about the debut of it. So back in September, of about 5 songs, and that was the first track off the EP, and this is the second track off the EP called Used to Be. I speak to the earth, weathered homes containing memories of my times alone, from the days of who I used to be. Once I saw myself everything and anything alive, and fading pictures on the shelf that remind me of we used to be.
Yeah, the music is by Mountain Holler. They're our guests on today's live music showcase here. I'd like to shout out to our wonderful LMS crew. Oh, and before that, let me tell you, you can watch this show live on TV. Just go to Facebook and type in LMS WMNF, and it'll get you our live Facebook feed. You can also catch the show later on this evening on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/WMNF885FM, courtesy of Dr. Richard Stone, our YouTube producer. So, our live music showcase today, sound mixed up today by Mark Perfetti, and at the controls, assisted by Yumiko Thomas and Lee Cook. Our video crew, Bob Hoke, the aforementioned Richard Stone, Marcy and Tom Connors. Producers of this show today, Steve Arduengo and Mildred Matos, and we're assisted today by Darrell Parrott. She typed all this stuff up for my cheat sheet. A very important job. You can communicate with WMNF during the show at 813-239-9663, or send us an email at dj@wmnf.org. And during any other time, when the show's not on, you can communicate with us, the producers of this show, Steve and Mildred, and live music at WMNF.org. So, Mark Etherington and Sarah Modene here playing music for your listening and dancing pleasure. I don't guess anybody dances too much to this music, do they?
You'd be surprised.
Maybe Sufi dancing.
Yeah, Sufi dancing.
There you go.
It's more so of like a languid movement.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Whatever gets you up going.
Whatever works.
So you've got a website, mountainholler.bandcamp.com. You want to find out more about them.
Hi.
And they've got a bunch of gigs coming up. And the big news is you're going to be going out in February out to the Northwest. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm teaming up with a guy named Ari who is from Seattle, and he and I are doing a dual showcase at the KEXP Gathering Space on February 10th at noon. So we'll be playing inside there, and then actually Sarah and I are moving out there in April.
Oh, my goodness.
So we're going to bring this out to the great Pacific Northwest. And Yeah, and saturate that area for a while.
So the cold weather was just getting you ready for moving out there, I guess.
Yeah, this is a blessing. Yeah, I prefer the cold.
Well, meanwhile, you got a bunch of shows coming up here in the Bay Area. You want me to mention them? I've got them here, or do you want to? You have them memorized?
I get them a little locked in. Let's say the 19th to the 20th, we're going to be down in Fort Myers at Bury Me Brewing Company with a couple other artists, good friends of mine, Alex Borst and Patrick Doyle. We'll be playing there. Show starts around 8 o'clock. And then next week, on Friday the 26th, I'll be playing with Trailside Phantoms at 5 Star Dive Bar in Ybor, about a stone's throw away from the studio. And the 27th, I'll be playing Sub Central at Iberian Rooster, which is Central Avenue and between 4th and 5th Street there.
Yeah.
Playing an art show. And then...
You got a couple of festivals after that.
Yeah, so Localtopia is February 3rd. That's great. This will be my 4th year in a row playing Localtopia. I'm really honored to keep being brought back.
And then Yoga on Tap on the 21st of Feb at Three Daughters in St. Pete.
Yeah.
Music and yoga.
Music and yoga. That's something that I've been doing for a little while now.
Music and yoga?
Music and yoga, yeah. Both. Okay. Music and yoga, and then playing music for yoga.
Okay. This is the perfect music for it.
Yeah, it's in the, like when I do the yoga, when I play for the yoga classes, I do some. I try to extend the songs a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more atmospheric.
Boy, that's great.
Yeah, I do some looping and I work with an electric guitar and play a cello bow on it to kind of create some drone and atmospheric stuff.
Whiz.
Yeah, so that's always a good time. That's at Three Daughters. It's like $15.
Yeah, can't mention prices on the air, but that sounds like a good thing.
We can red button that out, right? There's a red button.
Whatever.
It's a certain amount of money that you can afford to come to.
Well, Mountain Holler are our guests today on the show. We've got Mark and Sarah. We'll come back in a little while, talk to Sarah about what she's up to. Meanwhile, let's have another tune.
This song is called Great Disguise. Oh, no, it's not. It's called Open New Faiths. See their eyes looking grave. Time to light those shadows.
Music from Mark Etherington, Mountain Holler, our guest on today's live music showcase. You can check them out at mountainholler.bandcamp.com. Check out their upcoming gigs. We've also got Sarah Modene here in studio with us, and you can be watching this show right now while it's happening on Facebook at facebook.com/LMSWMNF. If you're listening on the radio, you can always listen again on our archive or go and watch it later on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/WMNF885FM. So let's talk to Sarah. Hey, Sarah, tell us your story.
Oh, my story. Well,
I mean,
musically, I've been writing music since I was 7. I've been playing piano since I was 5. And when I was 17, I actually released a debut solo piano album, which you can still find. I have 2 of them on Spotify and iTunes. And it's interesting because the music I've always written has been very similar in tone and chord progression and ambience to what Mark has written. So when we started collaborating, it was just a very easy transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you into yoga also?
Recently, yes.
It's part of the, goes with the territory here?
I attempt to be into yoga.
I think we all attempt to be into yoga. Even people, he's doing eagle arms in there. Mark's doing eagle arms.
I do what I can.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, we had a really great yoga teacher in Dade City where I live. And I was going every week. It was just great, and for 2 years, and then she came back from the summer one time, and she had moved away.
Oh no!
So I was sad.
Yeah, you get locked into a person's
well, it just felt so
energy.
good. You know, and she was really a good teacher, and I think a teacher's really important. You know, somebody who you can understand what they want you to do.
Right.
Yeah. Do you also do you guide yoga? You teach also, or you just
No.
pretty much are the guy who is creating the sounds?
I like to sit in the back and do my own thing in
Be a
classes.
good yoga instructor, though.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. I love the practice. I love the idea of being from a lineage of students. One thing I realize is that there are never really teachers. It's just a bunch of students after students after students, right? Students helping students.
Well, you know, and it's also nice that the teacher is doing the poses just like
That can help, yeah.
those of us that are in the class is doing.
Yeah, it really, I'm a very visual person, so sometimes I get lost in my own head when I'm listening to instructions, so to be able to look up and have a reference, that really helps. And I practice at the Body Electric, and the Body Electric has such a fantastic arsenal of teachers and classes and workshops and community classes like Yoga on Tap, and it's pretty awesome. I'm really fortunate to be able to practice with that studio.
Well, a whole bunch of people have called. And
oh, really?
They all wanted to put in their 2 cents. And thank you, everybody who called. We heard from Joe Sutphin. He says, awesome sound. Reminds him of Joe Walsh and Led Zeppelin.
Hell yeah.
We heard from, we heard from Renee Crabapple, who says, I just got chills, sounding great. Oh, Jenny in Tampa says, I hear a Radiohead influence.
That's there.
Yeah.
I love Radiohead.
Margot says, very haunting. And our traffic jam lady, Bobby Dusenberry, called. She said, Monday traffic jam on WMNF, loves Mountain Holler.
I love Bobby.
Yeah.
I was on her show.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah. And we also heard from Emmett Kilpatrick, who says, your program has become another WMNF don't miss for me. Well, we appreciate that from all of our great live music showcase listeners. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of people watching on Facebook right now, and if you want to watch on Facebook, just go and type in LMS WMNF. LMS is in Live Music Showcase. We'd like to thank D Drum, located and made right here in Tampa, for donating the drum kit that we often use on the Live Music Studio. You can find out more about them at ddrum.com. We used the drum kit last week on the show, and it just we had a great drummer last week on the show. You should go back and watch it. Really great show last week, and the drum kit is just killer. So thanks again to D Drum. Let's have another song.
Sure.
Once you get tuned up there.
Yeah, that's the bane of playing with multiple acoustic guitars and different tunes.
Yeah. Well, our show is being mixed up today by Mark Perfetti, assisted by Yumiko Thomas today and Lee Cook, and we appreciate them.
So this next song is called Great Disguise, and it's about the it's a focus on the duality of woman, but it's also about the social facade we all put on when we go out into the world and experience, the social life in this Western society. And it's more so a narrative of my own kind of realization that it's all just kind of a bunch of bull. You wanna play on this one, Dash? With lines you've drawn, waiting for the anchors to fall, and going against the tide to hold. The sinking ship is meant to bring you home. Riding on the brink of dawn, echoes of the memories you hold will bring about some great unknown side of you you've never known. Reflections of a world you can't deny, and lifting all these heavy stones and building walls you can't hide behind.
Music from our band on today's live music showcase. We've got Mountain Holler, Mark Etherington on the vocals and guitars. Sarah Modine's playing keyboards and singing some backgrounds today. So Mark, you're like playing in a bar, or a restaurant or something like that,
Yeah.
and there's people talking and drinking and stuff like that. How does this music go over in a situation like that? I mean, do you ever come up to people or come and say, "Hey, can you play something a little faster?"
Well,
Or do you have a whole other set of stuff that you do?
I try to stay away from those type of environments.
Yeah.
When I first started playing, I took everything I could get, right?
Yeah.
And I always got positive reactions. There's only been one time in which someone came up to me, and it was this lady, and it was a lady.
Inebriated.
And she was older, and she just said, "Can you play something happier?" And I was like, this is happy music. But when I first started off, I took every opportunity that I could get. And what I found out in most instances was in between songs, me engaging the people and letting them kind of know, like, hey, like, I go by the name Mountain Holler. I'm performing for you this evening. This is my art, rather than I'm going to sit back and be some sort of like fly on the wall type of soundtrack for the evening. What I got most was a very hushed response, people listening or talking quieter. And then as I've been progressing in my career, I try to seek out more listening venue environments. So like the Hideaway in St. Pete is one of my favorite venues, the Blue Note in Tampa.
Nice mellow places to be.
Yeah, just places where people come to listen to music, places where I can really play with dynamics. She and I have both a lot of great dynamics. And like today I'm playing a little bit more of the the listening type of stuff. I do definitely have more upbeat and louder type of songs that can pertain to a greater area. I've been playing breweries since the great brewery boom of Tampa Bay, 4 or 5 years ago. But for the most part, I find that people are pretty well receptive. I think it's a tranquil experience for the both of us.
Oh yeah. Well, we need a little more tranquility in this world. God knows.
I agree.
So when you're writing these songs, now, do you both take a hand in writing? Does Sarah chip in, put in her 2 cents sometimes?
So because this is so fresh, this collaboration, most of this is just like, hey, I have these songs. Do you want to collaborate? So it's Sarah adding her own 2 cents.
Yeah.
But she and I are moving in together before we take off for Seattle. So, I mean, just us being able to sit in a room together and rehearse and write, things definitely do blossom from that. Like we immediately started working on something last night. So there will be more of a collaboration.
Well, tell us a little bit about your creative process then of the songs so far.
Well, I write music as a way to kind of deal with my emotions of the everyday life. This is my therapeutic outlet that I have. So it's not just like I'm going to sit down and write a song. It's more so like I need to express myself for whatever sort of drastic emotional experience I'm going through at the time. So every song that I have represents a different aspect of a point I was at in some point in my life. So it's more so about trying to translate a feeling, because I'm not so great, and Sarah knows this, not so great at expressing my emotions verbally in normal, dialogue and conversation. However, given like music, I feel like I can express it that much more. So this is much more so of a process of me dealing with and trying to filter through emotional experiences in life, everyday experiences, no matter what it might be, strong enough to make me want to sit down and express myself. But through that, it becomes very diligent. I sit down at my interface and I put on headphones so I can run myself through my recording program, and I put myself saturated with a lot of reverb. I try to make myself sound as spacious as possible, right?
Spacious, yeah.
Remove myself from a dampened, quiet, sound-controlled room,
Mm-hmm.
put myself out somewhere else, and that helps me kind of navigate and pick and poke at whatever it is that I need to pull out of the air. And then more so it's just from improvising, and I don't know, it's always different. Every song is different.
Wow. Okay, well, let's have another song. I'm curious to hear the next one then. What's this going to be?
So this song is called Sparkle. And this, I I was playing in a band called Set and Setting. We went to Europe in May of 17 last year. And I came back realizing a lot of things about myself. And the greatest idea of the song in which I came to realize was that it's so easy to become removed from this world and feel really isolated mentally and internally. And we must not forget that we're nothing more than light refracting off matter, and that we do matter through all of that. So just as you see me and as I see you, we may not see ourselves in the same light, but we do see ourselves in the same light. You know, the same sun shines upon all of us, refracting its light upon all of us. So at times we feel distant and isolated and dark, but to someone else we might seem bright and beautiful. So it's just the idea of always trying to remember that you're sparkling in some sort of degree or another, and to tell yourself to sparkle, you know, even on the down days. So, you ready, Dash?
Live Music Showcase here on WMNF in Tampa. I'm Bill Dudley. Mark Perfetti mixing it up today. We got our great video crew, Bob Hoke, doing the directing here, assisted by, he's assisted by our great camera people, actually. Richard Stone, Marcy, and Tom Connors on the cameras. You can watch this show live on Facebook at LMS WMNF. And tonight, Dr. Stone will be putting our show up on YouTube at WMNF 885 FM. That's how you get to our channel. And you can watch our shows going back like years, I think. Whole bunch of them back there. So our band today, what a band. Mountain Holler is the band, and kind of based around the songs of Mark Etherington. He's playing the guitar and vocals. We got Sarah Modene on the keyboards and background vocals. Oh my goodness, we got some more people here are calling in, tell us they're listening to this show. Cadillac John says,
Good things.
well, yeah, I can't figure out what this says. Some dobro, I think that's what they mean, would sound amazing. And Tess says, can't believe you're moving away from us. This is always your home. How sweet. And thanks to everybody who's called us up today. A whole bunch of people listening online, watching us on Facebook. And Mark Etheridge, you would say, it sounds like, a lot of people out there writing songs like, oh baby,
Yeah.
And here you're writing songs that are trying to lift people up and get them in touch with the cosmic energy and et cetera, wouldn't you say?
Well, I'm trying to write songs to lift myself up, right? First and foremost. But
If you don't change yourself, you can't change the world.
yeah,
right?
like my brother taught me at a really young age. Like he told me, he's like, don't say it, be it, And I try to really emphasize that.
Well, you had a cool brother.
Yeah, I got two cool brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, they're cool. But yeah, I've tried to like write the normal. I don't know. For me, music isn't about. It's not about the songwriting. It's about the expression of the artistic form and utilizing music as a medium.
Like Marshall McLuhan said, huh?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
But like, I don't know. Like music has always been very transcendental for me. And I know Sarah as well. Like, so I think what we're just trying to accomplish is to create the best listening experience for you possible. We don't want to turn any ears away from our sound, and we don't want to be too abrasive. We don't want to be too in your face with it.
I don't think you have to worry about being abrasive.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes.
Well, we've got about 4.5, 5 minutes to go on the show, so I think we'll just go out on one all-encompassing, non-abrasive song.
Sure. Yeah. This song is called Ashes.
And thanks for coming on the show, you two.
Oh,
it's been great having you.
Thank you so much.
Really a great
Yeah.
experience.
This was great. It's a great way to spend a Friday afternoon and start the weekend, I won't say too much, but this song is called Ashes, and it's about forgiving former versions of yourself and moving past it, Check. I thought my headphones went out. Wake up, misty eyes, see the trees come alive. Forget all the forest, 'cause deep inside burns light. Warm me and ever glowing, but bathed in shadow, I sit and cry.
Wipe your